Hey guys, I'm going to take a minute here and make a quick video talking through chords and borrowing chords from various other dimensions. I'm going to make probably a better one where I use logic, but I don't have time and I want to get this done before our class, which starts in 25 minutes. So I'm just going to do it right now on a spreadsheet. And that way, at least today, I can tell you that I've done this. So I'm going to screen share. Okay. So this is going to help you with your next, I believe the next homework is after you do your Aeolian to Dorian and Phrygian. The next one you're going to do is where you harmonize a melody. And from now on, you're going to be incorporating, for the most part, you'll be incorporating chord progressions in what you do. And first of all, let me just say, I'm not going to mandate that you use any specific type of chord progression. So for the most part, you can just use what you know as long as it is achieving the desired effect. I'm going to focus more on whether you've actually achieved the desired effect with your chord progressions. But I just want to talk through some chord possibilities. We all know at this point about a major chords and their relative minor. So for C major, it would be A minor, would be the relative minor. But today I really want to talk about the parallel minor. So C major parallel is C minor. So we're sharing the same tonic, and that's really important. First, we're just going to talk through the chord qualities. So we all know in the major key, first the 1 chord is major, then the 2 chord is minor. Whoops, caps lock is on. Then the 3 chord is minor, and then the 6 chord is minor. And then the 7 chord is a minor flat 5, and I don't have any better way to do it other than just like that, minor flat 5, or diminished. But so those are the qualities of chords that we have that are diatonic to the major key. The parallel minor, so the 1 chord is minor, and we're going to speak in diatonic terms. The 2 chord is a minor flat 5. The 3 is major, but it is built on the flat 3 of the scale. The 4 chord is minor. The 5 chord is diatonically minor in Aeolian. The 6 chord is major, but again, built on the flat 6 of the scale compared to major. And the 7 is also a major triad that is built on the flat 7th scale degree. So if we're looking at the major and the minor, when you are composing this applies to instrumental and also songwriting, you can borrow from your parallel key. So if you wanted, you could write, well, we all know, we've already talked about how there are songs that use 1, 4, and flat 7 a lot. And also, let's just really quick go through this. I already said this in the video talking you through the textbook, but I'll say it here again. So your tonic functioning chords, I'm sorry, I'm taking a little sidestep, but I need to cover this before your test that you have to take by midnight. And some people were reaching out and they weren't sure about this because they hadn't watched the whole video. So your tonic function chords are your 1, your 3 minor, and your 6 minor. And the way you can remember that is we all know that the tonic is 1, and we all know that the subdominant is 4, and we all know that the dominant is 5. Okay, so really the way you're going to remember is you take the 1, what can be tonic 1, or up a third from 1, or down a third from 1. Same with subdominant. The 4, and then up a third, it can be 6 minor, or down a third, it can be the 2 minor. I'm gonna say one more thing after this, so don't check out on me yet mentally. Dominant, 5, up a third is 7 minor flat 5, down a third is 3 minor. However, I also want to say that the flat major 7 chord can function both in the subdominant and dominant function. And that's really important to remember, because that chord right there is a really great chord to use. And I don't know that your traditional theory classes are going to talk to you about that. So this is what you need to know for the chapter test. And if you watched the video of me talking you through the textbook, I said it in there, but I'm not sure if you got to that part yet. So, okay. So let me go back to this. You're borrowing from your parallel major or your major and parallel minor. So if you wanted to write a song where you were going to use all major chords, you could use all of these chords together. And the cool thing is that while they're major chords, because it's kind of a flat, it's predominantly, oh, sorry, I forgot to do that one. It's predominantly a flatted nature to the bass, the roots. It's still going to have a little bit darker quality. So that's, that's just kind of a cool combination. Now let's talk about secondary dominance. I've had students that really have a hard time wrapping their head around the secondary dominant, and it's because they give you these, goofy explanations like it's the 5 of 5, 5 of 6, 5 of 7. They're just trying to show you how, you could possibly resolve it. But the thing is, you don't always have to go to the 5 of whatever that chord is. So essentially, the easiest way to remember it is a secondary dominant is a major chord where a minor chord or a non-major chord would normally be on the diatonic major scale. So secondary dominants are a major 2 chord, a major 3 chord, which isn't the same as the one in the parallel minor because that's on the flat 3 and this is on the regular 3, a major 6 chord, and a major 7 chord. This is probably the major 7 is probably the one you're going to use the least. But major 2 chords, man, major 2 chords can just brighten up a song, and it can create kind of a Lydian moment. And in fact, when you're in Lydian, major 2 chords are your best friend because they have the sharp 4 in them. So that's one way to justify a raised 4th scale degree. If you're in Lydian mode, you can use a major 2 chord. So the thing about this is, again, if you want to write a song with all major chords, look at all your options. Like if you just really want to make it super bright and interesting, you've got all these major chords you can use. As long as your bass line is singable, then that is one way to kind of get through chords. Another way to get through chords is to do chromatic movement. So like if you were going to do a chord progression where you were moving chromatically, say you start on the tonic and you want to go down by half steps, you can use inversions, right? So you can start on a 1 chord, and then if you go to the leading tone, the 7th scale degree in the bass, you could either use a 5 in first inversion. You can use the 7 minor flat 5. That's actually not the most common one to use in pop music. Probably be a little kooky if you use the major 7, but you could try it. Or you can use the 3 in second inversion. Did I already say that? Those are the ones that diatonically would have the leading tone in them. And then, okay, so say that. So say then you're going to go to the flat 7 in the bass. You've got the minor 5 you could put in first inversion. You could try the flat major 7 chord. That's one option. You could, let's see, those are probably the two most likely that you would use. But also, oh, and you know what? I want to throw this in here, is a flat two, flat major two. And also a flat major five. These are also chords that we just need to acknowledge that they exist, because again, they're options. I mean, I literally just wrote a song yesterday that had, it was on the one chord, and then the creepy thing happened, and then da, 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 and I went from the major one to the major flat two, and then back down to the major one. You know, so it just depends on what you need to create psychologically. But I didn't want to forget to mention those chords. So okay, so say you're going down that chromatic bass line. You've got the one, you've got the leading tone, you've got the flat seven. Now you go to the six. You got the six. You could use a six minor. You could use a four in first inversion. You could use a two in second inversion, or two over, you know, we're not going to talk about inversions because that's more of a, I mean, it is an inversion, but really in commercial music, you'd say a 4/6 or a 2/6. They're called slash chords. You could, if that regular six, you could try, you'd be getting that raised one if you do a major six chord, but you could try it. You never know. It might just be the perfect thing. And then you go down to the flat six. Okay. Something I love to do is I love to take a regular 4/6 and then go to 4 minor/6. That's a lovely moment. But you could use just a flat major six chord, or you could use your 2 minor flat five over a flat six, because that would work. So you could use your major three chord, because it's the flat six and the sharp five are the same. So that, say you're in the key of C, and you know, so we've gone C, B, B flat, A. Now we're at the A flat, which is also G sharp. That's the third of this chord. You could use this chord in first inversion. Then you could go down to the five in your bass, but really it could be a 1/5. It doesn't have to be a five chord. It could be a five chord, depending on how emotionally you want it to feel. It could be a 3/5. It could be a 5 minor. It could be a flat 3 in first inversion. It really depends on how you set it up. I'm not saying that you could literally just randomly pick chords that technically have the scale degree and it's just automatically going to sound good. It might sound a little weird if you put some weird combinations together, but you can get creative and you can try, and you can kind of ask yourself, how do I want this to sound? Say you're doing a chromatic line that starts on the tonic and it goes up by half steps. So you start with a 1, and then so you've got that sharp 1. Well, that would be a great time for this secondary dominant 6 chord, major 6 chord in first inversion. So it would be like in the key of C, it would be A over C sharp. A major over C sharp. And then you go to your second scale degree, and it would be, you could use your 2 minor, you could use a 2 major, you could use a major 7 in first inversion, depending on where you're coming from. A major flat 7, I mean. You know, you just experiment. And then you've got you've gone from C to D flat / C sharp to D. Now you go up to the E flat or D sharp, and it could be your flat major 3 that you borrow. It could be a minor 1 that you're borrowing. It could be your flat major 6 over the flat 3, like if it was an A flat major triad over the E flat. And then you go to the E. It could be your minor 3 chord. It could be a 1/3. It could be it could be a 6 minor over 3. It could be a lot of, you could do a lot of different, you could do 3 major chord.
I'm gonna go on a bike ride.
Okay, my son's gonna go on a bike ride. So it could be a lot of different things, and you can just experiment and try. But I just wanted you guys to understand that you could borrow chords from the major and the parallel minor. And this may, for some of you, depending on how much theory you've had, this may be a little bit beyond what you've ever done. But I at least want to give you these tools and just to let you know that it's kind of your playground. Like, it's not, you don't have to worry about, like, just try stuff. It's not like you're going to create a break in the fabric of the space-time continuum if you use the wrong chord, So just really have fun and explore and try, and don't worry about, don't worry about screwing up. I mean, you're not really screwing up. You're just experimenting. Another basic principle is that if you just keep one common chord tone from one chord to the next, that's another way you can create a chord progression. I don't know in commercial songwriting how far that can get you, but especially if you're doing like some post-score type of stuff, film score type of stuff, you can just keep one similar chord tone and go from one to the next. So like, say you go from the 1 chord, well, okay, keeping that similar chord tone on the 1, you got the 1 minor, or you've got the 6 minor, or the flat major 6, or the 4, or the 4 minor, or if you wanted to really be kooky, the major 2 with the 7th on it, a 2-7. So then say you went from the 1 to the flat 6. Okay, so now flat 6, what are the common chords to those? Flat 6, 1, and flat 3. So we've got the minor 4 chord. We could go to the flat major 3. We could go to the, the minor 1 chord. We could go to my brain. Oh yeah, the 6 minor, because it would have the 1. So, again, it's really it's just more of the thing. You should just have fun and just try. I wrote a chord progression yesterday where I did a lot of chromatic stuff because it's historic, because, I'm working on the books. And I think I went, I don't have my chart here with me, but I went from like, I was in the key of F, and I went from the G minor to the E half diminished 7 to the E flat major to the D major. And it worked for the story. So you just do whatever sounds good. So I will just say, though, the thing about chords, I said this when I talked through the textbook, is the function of chords is to enhance without distracting. You want to enhance without distracting. So you don't want your chord progressions to be like, ooh, look how many chords I know. That's not the goal. The goal is to enhance the overall composition without completely distracting from what you've got. So you don't want to distract from your lyric, you don't want to distract from melody, you just want to support and enhance. Okay, we're going to start class in just a few minutes, so I need to stop this video. I'll see you in a few minutes.